Hello. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. So my name's Josh. I'm a AI engineer at Veris and enjoying all the stuff at NeurIPS.
Are you presenting anything or?
Yeah, we've got a poster on Sunday at the Scaling Environments for Agents workshop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so what are you most excited about working on at Veris?
So for me, working at Veris, something that we're doing the core product is these simulation environments for training, evaluating, and improving really LLM agents. And it's really fun because it's getting into what I think is going to be the next kind of step, the next unlock for progress in LLM capabilities, agent capabilities. You know, LLMs for a long time have been great at generating text, getting us cool things to read, from like the diffusion side. Like also there's the getting cool things to listen to, cool things to look at. And now, with the agents is like we can get them to do cool things. And I think the reinforcement learning is the next step to really push that further.
Maybe you can tell me a bit more about, so it sounds like you are designing the RL environments, but I assume that's also in collaboration with perhaps like researchers or labs who are coming to you with those requests.
Yeah.
So like what is your role in the design process?
Yeah, good question. So, in terms of who we're working with, and how that influence is coming into what we're building, I think we're lucky in that early on we're a small team and we had a pretty clear vision about what is going to be the importance of environments and simulation environments in particular for training agents. And so, we're working with customers, getting import or understanding what's interesting to them, what's important to them that way. But I think from the get-go, we had a pretty clear idea of, we want to be building these environments that scale horizontally really nicely, right? So we can do thousands of simulations in parallel, that's thousands of rollouts in parallel. That's a kind of a core feature. Also being able to generate really realistic, believable kind of personas. So like if you think of an LLM agent as a lot of times they can be human facing, right? Like you ask it to go, check your credit card balance or something. So there's this kind of person, there's this persona that's coming in with an idea of what they want, their goals. For different customers, there's different personas, right? But it's really important for believable simulations, believable kind of rollouts to have a robust way to generate personas. And then lastly, tools. And I think this is something that kind of differentiates us from other folks that are in this space is if you come to an LLM agent with just kind of a mock persona, that only gets you so far, because if you really want thousands of these simulations in parallel, you want thousands of diverse simulations in parallel. You don't want to do the same thing over and over, right? And so you have to have different personas. But also, if you have tools, which is a definition, right, for the agents really, you need a way to be able to specify and simulate tool responses in a way that's coherent and cohesive with the persona. Like if we have a persona that's talking to an agent that's checking their bank account balance, right? Maybe the agent is going to call a tool that's actually calling a database that's looking at customer information, credit card information, and that has to be like the tools and the personas have to work together, make sense in the simulation. So your original question, right, was like how are customers, design partners helping kind of move forward? And I'd say that they're helping, kind of make things immediately relevant. But the fundamentals, I think we had a pretty solid idea from the beginning.
So you're kind of building out these extremely complex, like simulated realities of like personalities and real, like, responses of PII simulation. What is the biggest challenge in that process?
So the biggest challenge is being able to know that you're generating a really diverse set of scenarios, personas, and tool responses, right? Like, and being able to kind of quantify that. Like, so example, for a long time, it used to be the case that if you asked ChatGPT, tell me a joke, it would say, why don't scientists trust atoms because they make up everything, right?
Oh,
Like that was
yes.
used to be like always the same response. And if you ask ChatGPT, what's your favorite color? It would say blue, whatever, like a lot of the time. You prompt an LLM lots of times, the distribution that comes out is not the distribution that you want if you're trying to simulate and test a really broad kind of set of scenarios and personas. And so not only being able to do it, but also like being able to quantify, like look at this distribution.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm pretty curious about modeling the distribution of people in America versus the rest of other countries. Is probably like very different task. And you have different amounts of data to like condition for those tasks too, I guess.
Yeah. The kind of the personas, the demographics, and also here's something that I think I never really appreciated until I started building this out with my team, is that a lot of people, they think about personas as like independent, like just a person in the world. And yeah, you can describe a persona like that. There's like persona databases out there, but a persona, at least in terms of interacting with agents, is also very closely defined by the things that the persona wants to do in that context. So there's the objectives, right? So like you can say like, you can describe me as a persona, demographics, age, background, blah, blah, blah. But then it's like, maybe today I'm calling this agent to talk about X. Tomorrow I'm calling to talk about Y. Same persona, different scenarios. And linking that, kind of these scenario-specific objectives to the persona is also important. But you're kind of, I think you're getting at modeling diversity of potential people who could interact with this. So this is one thing that we're influenced by our customers and design partners, is a lot of times they know who's going to be coming and talking, right? They have an idea. And even more specifically, it's like if they have something in production, they're like, hey, we saw somebody come talk to our support agent about X, Y, and Z. The agent failed miserably. Like, how do we create a scenario from that? So we spent a decent amount of time making it so, we can take production logs from customers, ingest those into our scenario engine, and then generate these kind of nice ways to repeat what is actually being seen.
What's your vision for a future that's populated by agents trained with Veris?
Okay, so one, I think that agents are going to make up a large part of software in general moving forward. Like as agents get better and better, we're going to start giving them more and more things to do, more and more technically tool calls, but what does that represent? It represents like abilities, right? We're going to give them more and more responsibilities and abilities and trust them more. And so they're just going to, if you like have a code base, it's going to be made up more and more of like prompts and agent harnesses and API calls, right? And so as we're shipping more, I think of this also as like databases, right? Like you can think about, there was a period of time where databases were really hot. Like databases were cool, like people were doing PhD on databases and going to conferences on data. I'm sure there are people still doing this. But like at a certain point, databases kind of became boring because they started being everywhere.
Yeah.
They're in every piece of software. They're in every front end, they're in every back end. Like they're just like, they are everywhere. And I think that agents are going to be the same way. And so the question is, how do we improve them reliably? With databases, you can go dig into the code and make changes and improve it and know that it's going to be improved. With agents, it's not that simple. And so there's got to be a way, because we're going to be deploying them more and we're going to need to improve them more. That's what got me really excited and convinced that Veris is going to be a needed tool for the future of agents.
Makes a lot of sense. So the future is one where agents are so ubiquitous as to be boring and forgotten.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think so.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for your time, Josh. I really enjoyed talking to you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.